And I'm really grateful for our next guest because we need a philosopher's mind to help us know how to think about how we should properly engage with not only technology today, which is bad enough, and clearly we haven't thought through well since we've adopted it, but how do we engage with the technology that's coming very quickly in the future? Our friend Spencer Klavan, he is the host of the podcast Young Heretics, which you need to listen to, and associate editor at the wonderful Claremont Institute. Spencer, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you, man. How are you?
Really glad you're here. And again, we kicked off talking about virtual reality and augmented reality and brain chips and all this crazy stuff and what the future looks like. And I take it in a very dystopian way. Like Mark Zuckerberg talks about how this is the future and it's wonderful and it's amazing and I can't wait for it. And I don't know if it's the certain type of mind that looks at this, a conservative mind, looks at it as like, whoa, this seems like a problem. Yeah. How should we be thinking about future technologies?
Well, I think that this transhumanism stuff is one of those things that looks really new and is actually one of the oldest things in the book. And this is brilliant stuff that happens all the time, right? You know, we think, oh, communism, this is this new idea, we'll share all of our property in common. Well, Plato was talking about that, right, in the 4th century BC, and Aristotle explained in great detail why it doesn't work. So all of this stuff, people think they have some grand new thing that they're charging forth. Usually they're just regressing to some old temptation. And this idea that our technology, that the point of our technology is to break the boundaries of our humanity. It's an ancient and very, very tempting idea. I mean, it's expressed in a million different parables and myths and legends. One of them, for example, is Dr. Faustus. This is one of the most famous ones. You know, Christopher Marlowe has a play about this, and Goethe, the great German poet, has a play about this. That, you know, when you start to realize how much you can do with the world, how you can, you know, move faster, you can shrink distance essentially, and you can communicate as we can almost instantaneously. It feels like you can kind of eliminate time. It looks as though all of the things that kind of box us in, that define our humanity, male and female, right? The fact that we die, all of this stuff. It looks like, well, eventually, if we just carry this technology further and further, we're going to be able to cancel it out. We're going to be able to do surgeries that are so good that, you know, your physical body doesn't matter, your gender doesn't matter. We're going to be able to upload our consciousness into a cloud so that we can be anywhere at any time, so that physical location doesn't matter. And it all, to me, you know, every time it's like, oh, this time it's going to work, right? And right now, the people who have the most money and the most power are thoroughly convinced that they're going to make a go of it, that they're going to get it right this time. And to me, it just seems like, you know, there's an old saying that comes from Horace, the Roman poet in the Augustan era, you know, way back in antiquity. He says, if you chase nature out the door with a pitchfork, she's going to come back in. And you don't always know how, and you don't always. And so right now, I think our elite classes are basically making a big wager that that's not going to happen anymore, that this time nature won't come back in the door. And I think the answer to that is, well, how's it working out, right? I mean, it really seems to me as if with all of our high-flown rhetoric about how great this is going to be and how we're going to, transcend the boundaries, it seems as if everyone's getting more and more miserable. Right. And so every time I actually encounter somebody who believes in this stuff, I just ask, like, how is it working out for you? Right. To believe that you can, like, suck your brain out of your body and upload it into the cloud. It doesn't. I mean, there's something inherent in humanity that pushes back against this. And eventually it's going to come back in the door. Hopefully it won't come back in a terrible, you know, hopefully we'll figure this stuff out before it comes back with a vengeance. But my sort of intuition, and I think, as you're saying, your conservative intuition, is that it is going to come back. These are eternal truths. They're not things that you can cancel out if you just get good enough technology.
So good.
Wow. That was deep and insightful. I want more of that. Like,
subscribe, get more.